I probably need to actually go in and edit some of my audio settings. It's been a minute since I've done it. I need to make sure like everything's snuff. But yeah, not exactly sure how long we're going live today, so I'm probably gonna just get right into writing here quickly. No fanfare, no nothing. Yeah, hope you all are doing well today. I'm doing pretty good. I'll make sure that audio is all nice and good. I noticed earlier, I don't know if it was because of like how my settings were in Destiny 2 or if like the headset was the audio sensor on the headset was touched like the actual like wheel, whatever it's called. I don't know why I'm blanking on that. But yeah, today we're gonna do some more writing. I don't think we're gonna finish chapter 1 today, but if we do, that'd be really, really cool. Mostly because, good lord, chapter 1 is taking a lot. Not that it's a bad thing, but I'm definitely starting to know what my like length of chapter is going to be, and I might have to restructure my thoughts about how I'm doing chapters. But we'll see. Oh, we will see. I canceled work for us tomorrow. It's a little annoying because if I would have known, I would have made different plans. Not in the cards. Speaking of being in the cards, I need to make sure that you refresh the. Okay, select shuffle. Doesn't look like it. This. Really what I should do is also figure out how to make it so that you guys can see what song is playing on Spotify. I want to see if I can figure that out. Where it's like a command on Firebot where you can ask what song it is. Because unless I decide to go the route of just making a YouTube playlist for music, I don't know of a way to make it so that Spotify always opens in the tiny mode. There might be a way, but I don't know. Because from the looks of it, just looking in the user interface here on the Spotify app, my PC, I'm not really seeing a settings tab. Software. Doesn't seem to be there. See, like, I would have assumed you would think they'd have a way to have it, like, always launch in mode. See if there is one. Because honestly, if I can have it launch always in tiny mode, then I can have it just be a thing on have it where it's just a thing on. Why am I blanking? Oh, like an overlay thing for streaming. I do like standard. Standard's fine. Drop window. That's for my. Doesn't seem to have nice back crossfade. We could try putting on crossfade. Smart Shuffle. I don't want Smart Shuffle. I'm not really seeing a way to... So, like, that'd be a cool feature if it could just always launch in mini mode. Not seeing that here. Nope. Spotify. That could be handy, but it's not. It doesn't open in mini mode, which again isn't the end of the world. I can always just like set up mini mode before I go live for writing streams. But I just wanted to see if there was a way to do it. Anyways, enough of that. I just know it's cumbersome dealing with Spotify in the regard that I'm trying to play as. But I didn't figure out where settings were. I will take that as a W. I wish there's a screen, though, for mini player. Is what it is, what it is. Oh, goodness, excuse me. I'm a little tired today. Another dreadful migraine this morning. We had tornado watch and a warning basically all night. And where I live is very, very close to a siren. So it woke me up like 3 times last night. I didn't get good sleep. So when I don't get good sleep, I get a migraine. It sucks. It is what it is. Gotta make sure I'm prepared here. But hello. It is me, your boy. Go ahead and get music going. So, did it not work? Oh, my word. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, Romulus. It seems Tits is not working again, so give me a second. Let me fix that for you. Dude, that is by and far the most annoying thing. Don't know why it, like, disconnects. Alright. But does it all the time. Don't worry, buddy. I'll refund you. Once it lets me. Hold on, I gotta go to wrong tab. Manager. There. Should have got your points back too there, Romulus. Alright, let me see here. Is my mouth tracking working properly? I'm doing well, Romulus. I hope you're doing well too today. All things considered. But let's see if I got it working now. Alright, we got the Twitch integrated throwing system back up and running. If I have to do that every time I go live and make sure that thing is working, I'm going to be a little mad. But no, I'm doing well. We had a bunch of severe weather alerts last night that kept me up. And quite frankly, I didn't sleep too well, so I got another migraine this morning. No, I'm doing all right. Today, we're going to be doing some writing, as it were. We're going to be powering through this. I do want to make sure Because like I've noticed that chapter 1 is pretty long so far. Let's get to chapter 1. So chapter 1 start is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're at 10 pages so far for chapter 1, and I don't think that's terrible. I feel like that's a really good length to be at. But I am concerned, and this might just be like me being overcritical of my own writing style, but I feel like I am burning a lot of, I want to say needless description. Because I do feel like we need to have the description in here, especially for some of the world building stuff, but I don't want it to be where it's like... An example given is like, you don't want to have unnecessary call to attention stuff if there's nothing of important being called to attention of. Right? Like, there's no wasted description. You know, like, yeah, I could sit there and explain to you an oak tree down to the detail of the leaves and the branches, but if I say oak tree, you already have an image of what oak tree is in your mind. You know? So I don't want to be, like, too descriptive, but we'll go back through again and see if I am too descriptive. Or you could even comprehend what was being read. The box sprang into action, steering his left wrist and hand as the sound of whirring gears of magic buzzing filled the small room. He went to pry the box free, but as his hand touched the box, the images burned towards him. Images he had seen before. It was one of the images. He grew still as his mind washed over with a soft static as he felt something else change inside him. Saying no, he was in the center of his room, eyes locked onto the new object. Metal sword. Like, and here's going to be an example I'm talking about, right? So I'm going to be describing his power sword. And I do feel like it is important to describe how the sword looks because it has a very unique look to it. But I don't want it to be where it's like there's nothing of wasted description. Oh yeah, I've decided to expand lore beyond one faction that lost the multiversal war against the Federation, calling it along lines of the Imperial Terran Empire. Human supremacist empire that rose from a timeline where from a fascism rose with the accepted doctrine and belief of human. Okay. That sounds like a fun thing to add. Alright, speaking of fun things to add. It's entirely too special looking. Let me think about how I want to write this. Curious by the new implement of war, but hesitantly reached out for the blade. Blade. Either scabbard. A gleaming metal sword bound in a dark leather sheath. Actually, I should double check that before I just like assume the same thing. Sheath. Okay, so what's the difference? Let's see what Reddit says. Sheath used interchangeably referring types. The only exception I think the scroll knives are sheaths and not scabbards. You can sheath various things as a word, but you sheath your sheath, not scabbard your scabbard. Okay, so it seems like sheath. If you're ever writing and you need questions answered, surprisingly, Reddit is a really, really good thing. So sheath is for covering an object. It can be any sort of covering, sort as any item. Keep the longbow or fifth round of the sheath bag to protect it. So scabbard is like, according to what Reddit is saying, is like a more for bladed objects. It can be flexible. Well, Reddit. Lurky Romulus. I really do like your idea. By the way, it's always good to like have a faction fleshed out for what you're doing. Gleaming showed bound in dark leather sheath. I spelled iridescent wrong. As if it was an iridescent sheen of various blues. Cyclone. Power. A thought softly echo in his mind. Gleaming metal sword bound in a dark leather. Next thing he knew, he was standing in the center of his work. Eyes. Eyes locked onto the new object. A gleaming metal sword bound in a dark leather scabbard was what he saw. The scabbard was simple looking, just adorned with sigils and runes Dakota very vaguely recognized, but couldn't quite recall what they meant. He saw that they had a faint glow to them, as if an iridescent sheen of various blues cycling with an unknown power. As it sat in his locker, Dakota felt a thought softly echo in his mind. It wasn't his voice that gave him the thought, and yet reached for it. Curious by the new implement of war, Dakota hesitantly reached out for the blade. As if it knew his intent, the blade slowly arose from the scabbard it was in. Carefully, he grabbed the blade by its hilt. Slowly. Treated returned. As he did, the blade began to turn. To the scabbard. Carefully. As he did, the blade retreated back. As he did, the blade began to return to the scabbard. Seeing it do so made him realize that the blade magically tuned to thoughts. He heard that. Again, came towards carefully grabbed the blade by its. You can tell me he doesn't want its hilt. Situation histories. He grabbed the blade by its. By the hilt. Let's just do the hilt. There. Carefully grabbed the blade by the hilt. He seized it. Isn't up. Carefully, he grabbed the blade by a hilt as he sized it. Carefully. So, made him. Seeing it do so, made. Oh, that's. Seeing Blade do so, made him realize. Made Dakota. As he did, the blade began to return to Scabbard. Seeing it do so, made Dakota realize that the blade was magically attuned to his thoughts. Well, he inferred that, as he had no way of confirming it outright, until they reached. And then it came towards him. Stopped just within his heat. Carefully, he grabbed the blade by the built and sized up. Felt slightly heavier than it should. Went to move the blade about. See that the blade's middle slowly began to glow. The blade. Feel. But let the blade have to find balance in his hand. In silver color. Sigils. Attached to the cross guard. I'm gonna assume it's George, right? Hello, Phoenix. How you doing today, buddy? Hope you're doing well. We are working more on the Arcane Chronicles here. We are at the part where Dakota gets his power sword. I'm doing well, all things considered. I woke up this morning with migraine because tornado sirens are going off all night long. I didn't sleep too well. It stinks because I also had a migraine yesterday, so we suffered, but we're living now. So, I hope you're doing well. I mean, you are. I'm assuming you're doing well because you said good when I asked you that the first time. Yeah, it is very, very humid. It's not so bad here today, but I think that's because it's also not, like, crazy hot today like it has been. Like, I mean, yeah, it's 76 degrees Fahrenheit here in Michigan, but still. Oh, Lord, hope you don't get too dead from the humidity. It has for the most part. It's still kind of there, but it's manageable with ibuprofen. I got to be careful. I don't want to take all my sumatriptan, so I have to kind of like not overdo it with that. But carefully, he grabbed the blade's hilt and sized it. The blade itself was a bright silver color with sigils and runes etched into the cross guard that shone like the cross guard. Oh. Along. Maybe it should be and along. The blade. Ouch. Hello, Dotman. No! Yeah. Yep. I hate it when they sneak up on you like that. Kind of like Dotman throwing chairs and balls at me. How you doing today, Dotman? Hope you're doing well. What up? Carefully, he grabbed the blade and sized up. The blade itself was a bright silver color with sigils and runes etched into the crossguard and along the middle of the blade, shone like the sigils on the sky. Yeah, no thanks. Missing with 90-degree weather. True, but says the blade itself was a bright silver color. I read this like 3 times now. Heavier than it should. I need to see how long the blade. It was a tent. Blade slowly rose from the scabbard. It was in slowly. Blade arose. I don't think we need the other slowly there. I feel like we're too repetitive. Yeah, no joke. Summer's not for at least another 9 days. The blade arose from the scabbard it was in and slowly began to move towards him. Dakota drew his band back out of instinct as the sun moved and the blade caught him off guard. As the blade began to return to the scabbard. Seeing it do so made Dakota realize the blade was magically tuned to his thoughts. Well, he inferred that as he had no way to confirm that outright. He reached for the weapon again, and it came towards him. It stopped just within his hand. Carefully, he grabbed the blade by the hilt and sized it up. The blade itself was bright silver color. Bright silver color with sigils and runes etched into the crossguard along the middle of the blade that shone like the sigils on the scabbard. Sword was just over. Let's see here. If this is, you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to keep off putting the AC in. I mean, I get that, but like, I'm assuming because you have we call them window shaker AC units, where it's just like the box you stick into a window. Right? Is that what it is? Do I have something of measurement near me? I think my tape measure is in my toolbox. Gotcha. I kind of love and hate window shaker AC units. Because, like, one, you can get a room very freaking cold with a window shaker, right? But the problem is, only that room's cold. I feel like 3 foot is good length for a blade. Long. I spelled taper wrong. Alright, here's what I'm going to do, because I'm having a hard time visualizing how I want to describe this, so I'm going to draw it. There for the screen jump scare here. Alright. So for what I'm designing, start with the blade. I'm thinking of blade's probably.
Yo guys, it's me, Charlie. Hey, did that guy just turn into sand?
Yeah, what was that?
What I'm thinking the blade will do, kind of go like this, taper in. I'm really terrible at drawing. Go to the point. So break turned into sand. Ah! How you doing today, Dotman? I hope you're doing well. So this is the blade. We'll do a line. Symbolizes where the sigils go to. Crossguard. Okay. Let's do this for the crowd. Thinking. Oh. Make another polygon shape. Doing fint. I'm doing alright, all things considered. This one is a beast. Cools the entire apartment. Nice. You like Beast of Window Shaker. Just so, in case you're curious what I'm doing, I'm making how I want the sword to look, and then I'm going to describe how the sword looks in writing. Thinking, though, we might need to change up some of the stuff here. I'm a great artiste, I know. The fairy cries out nagging. Oh, I mean, 100% it does, yeah. I mean, it's a window shaker, so like it's gonna rattle it. And probably have a. Actually, it should probably be a circle. A little too big. Really do like the new tools they gave him this paint. Star. How many points star do we? Do like turquoise. There's something lost. I need to order a replacement washable filter for it. Lost mine last year. The thing out of existence. Yeah, dude. I will never ever not sing the praises of having like a renewable like air filter for things that you can just wash. It's such a good and underutilized thing. Where it's like I'm surprised more people don't have actually use like renewable filters. It is sincerely that good. No. Hmm. Auto Cucumber tried to change it to pooped. Yeah, I don't know if they like certain words like poofed or pooped. You know? It's always funny when it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we don't like that word. Okay, so this is what the sword kind of looks like. Very crude rendition, but it will suffice for our needs. So how do I describe this? I'm gonna close that out, so I'll just keep that up on my main screen here for a second. Okay. Pivot towards the tip. New words. Yeah, autocorrect always gets me too. It'll be so funny sometimes how it gets me too. It'll be like, I wanted to say ammo, and it'll be like, ammonia. How do you get... Wait, I'm not even talking about, like, washing anything. Why are you pulling out ammonia? It's like, I remember, it's not autocorrect per se, but it was back when, like, text-to-speech or, like, speech-to-text was first kind of popping off on mobile devices. Like, this was probably back when I had, like, the Galaxy 2 or whatever. So this was back in 2000 and... I want to say it was, like, 13, 14. Somewhere in that ballpark. So for context, me and my dad will often say something like, as part of a thanks, we'll be like, you're an officer and a scholar, or like, you're an officer and a gentleman, you're a soldier and a, whatever, yada yada, some other praise, like, and on top of saying thank you. So for context at the time, this is when I was living down in Tennessee, I had a Camaro. It was a 1983 Camaro, black with T-tops. It wasn't anything fancy to write home about, because it was like the 2.7 liter carbureted engine, so the thing was a dog of a car. Had no get up and go in it. It was like the cheap Camaro you could have, right? And I miss that car a lot. Like, if I ever get money, excess money where I can buy it, I'm buying another one. But when it had no AC, so I was driving around down in Tennessee in Franklin, near, I want to say it was like 31 by where it joins by Moore's. So there's like a lot of there's like a Sonic there, there's some like business hotel complex, and I was driving home from work, or was I going to work? Regardless, I was driving down that straight road, and my dad had texted me because I was driving. I was like, I'll just use voice to text, no biggie, I'll just text him back and say something. So we were talking, and I said, yep, thank you, sir, you're an officer and a gentleman. And I put my phone down and, focus back on driving. About a minute later, my dad calls me. He goes, hey, I know you probably were voice texting because you were driving again, but when you get a chance, look at that text message and tell me what it says. So then I'm like, oh no. I dreaded what my phone had ended up putting in instead of what I had originally said. And instead of saying, thanks, Dad, you're an officer and a gentleman, it said, thanks, Dad, you're an orifice and a genital. It was one of those moments where it was like, I am so thankful at that point in time, me and my dad's relationship was mended enough. Was mended enough where I could, where we could realize that, no, I did not mean to say orifice and genital. There's a shift tapered inwards and back out from the middle. Front. 4. Have you ever heard the tale of me and AZ doing our usual co-op thing, and then the auto queue coming for us while playing Family Feud? I did not hear the tale about that, but please do enlighten me. Hello, chum. How you doing today? Welcome back. We're doing some more writing today. Where you left off with us was we're talking about the sword. So now we're actually describing the sword. I hope you're doing well. We're talking about voice to text and autocorrect failures at the moment while I'm writing. Design choice. Sure. Go to then study it. Briefly before it gave the blade itself. It felt slightly heavier than it should. Smooth the blade about. This is when you see the blade's metal slowly begin to go white color. This food category around, and I was trying to put in spaghetti and auto correct tricked me, and it submitted it geese, so I thought I was gonna have a dog. Family Feud game racist? Hello? Oh, that's funny. Oh, man. So funny. Carefully grabbed the blade by its head and tilted the size up. The blade itself was a bright silver color, with sigils and runes etched into the crossguard along the middle of the blade. Sigils in the scabbard. The sword was stretched over 3 feet long, tapered inwards. I need to say it was not correct and to get a big old buzzer. That's pretty. Dude, I would be too. I would be busting my gut over that, honestly. Sword was just over 3 feet long with a wrapped mouth similar to the scabbard. Round pommel. Pommel. With a blue and star. Shop. Shape of a star. The blade. Shape of a star. Carefully grabbed it. The sword was just over 3 feet long. Blade length. Trying to think of what I can make for dinner, though. Well, what are your options? Then help. Under the hilt. No. Hilts. Pommel. There was. Stone. Wood gem cut the stone. Thank you for the hydrate. Mostly stuff that requires actual effort. Fair enough. Like pasta. Yeah, air fryer is always really, really good. The nice thing is, too, because it's just a small thing. Ooh, there you go. Yeah, you could, I mean, honestly, too, if you're not wanting to do a baked potato, you could just, like, take the potato, cut into wedges, and then, like, season it with, like, Parmesan, pepper, and garlic, and then put a little bit of oil down on, like, some tinfoil, whether it be, like, butter or, olive oil or whatever, and then you can, like, fry it like that, too. I really need to start utilizing my air fryer. Problem is, though, is like I got a conventional oven, and so it's just I just use that whenever I need to cook something. Because typically, if I'm cooking something, it's like the size of what I need the oven for. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Uh-oh, what happened at work? How'd you embarrass yourself? Yeah, I'm a bit of a foodie. Scabbard was. Another like the scabbard was. The end of the hilt, the pommel in the pommel, there's shown a blue gem cut into the shape of the star. Blade tapered inwards and then back out from the middle of the blade. About and a half worth of its length. Shown there. Shown a gem cut. Was blue gem cut into the star. Soft. Pasta could have been an option, but it didn't want to boil anything. Yeah, that's fair. Stupid ass Joe. Oh, I was happy and confident. Oh boy. Yeah, I love those moments. Carefully grab the blade by its hilt to see itself. Signs it. Stop just within reach of his hand. Carefully, he grabbed the blade by the hilt and sized it up. The blade itself was of a silver color. Sigils and runes etched into the dark gray crossguard and along the middle of the blade, as shown like the sigils on the scabbard. The sword was just over 3 feet in blade length. The hilt nearly a hand and a half long, so that's a pretty decent sized sword. Wrapped in leather like the scabbard was made out of. At the end of the hilt, the pommel, there was a blue gem cut in the shape of a star that gave off soft glow. The blade tapered inwards, then back out from the middle after about 1.5 feet worth of the blade's length, before collapsing back into the blade's tip. An odd design choice for sure. Dakota, so there we go. We can have a paragraph right there. Well, there's nothing wrong with being happy for a while. Yeah, but no, pasta does make things a bit warm. Studied the sigils briefly before he gave the blade a soft swing. Felt slightly heavier than it should. As he went to move the blade about, that is when he began to see the blade's metal slowly begin to glow a pale light in color, filling the tapered bit of the blade in blue energy. He could let the blade's half find balance in his hand as he realized it felt perfectly balanced. Now, more odd. Even more odd. Postman wonders whose magic craft was added into this blade as he went to sheath the blade. Sheath it. You can just say, just sheath it. And the scabbard. Before he could even latch it shut, the scabbard lifted out of his locker and fashioned a belt from seemingly nowhere and attached itself to his back. Belt. Round. Yeah, but if I'm too happy, I turn into giggly dumbass. I mean, I get that. But again, there's nothing wrong with like just having a moment of joy to yourself. You know, like don't feel like you got to bring yourself down if you're having a good time. Unless that good time is like actively harming others, then you don't need to worry about it. So I think the scissors will be heavier than it should. As you went to the blade belt, that's when you began to see the blade's metal slowly glow a pale white color, filling in the tapered bits of the blade with blue energy. Go to let the blades heft and find balance in his hand as he realized it was perfectly balanced now. More hot. The postman wondered whose magic craft was added to the blade as he went to sheath it and scabbard. Before he could even latch it shut, the scabbard lifted out of his locker and fashioned a belt from seemingly nowhere and attached itself to his back, bringing the belt around and integrating into his overcoat with a soft click and clink of metal. I work in retail. Yeah, that's fair enough. You know, you also got to worry about like, you know, you don't want to have it where like customers think you're insane. I do loathe retail work, but it's also one of those things where it's like if I was to be in charge of the nation, you know how some countries are like mandatory military service? I'd be like, nah, mandatory customer service. You got to work in customer service for a bit. But you can still have fun in retail, so long as you're with people and customers that aren't terrible. Like, I'll never forgive the soccer moms of Brentwood. I worked in Tennessee there. That was brutal. Never forgive them. The postman wonders whose magic craft was added into his blade as he went to sheath it and scabbard before he could even let shut. So postman wonders whose magic craft. It's because it's because of like, you know, personality. You got like introvert, extrovert. Sometimes I find people that are more introverted tend to not be able to keep themselves happy at a job where they need to like be constantly engaging with clients. or customers or guests, as some stores want to have us call them. Because it's like you're not in your comfort zone, so it's hard for you to find joy when you're not being in a nurturing environment. Whereas like people who are extroverted, they can kind of hang in an environment that is more socially available to them. I studied the sigils. Postman wondered whose magic craft was ended in nowhere in Texas. Next, Dakota decided he would test out the sword more later, though, as he was wasting time. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of retail work do you do? Ah. I mean, when you say lazy, do you mean like slow, or do you mean like because yeah, if you're a cashier, I mean that there's a couple interpretations of like what you would mean by lazy, right? Like your typical lazy, like what your manager would assume is like you're just not doing anything extra, or is it more so that you're just like, I'm not supposed to be on the phone right now? Well, if you're at work, you probably shouldn't be on your phone. But I mean, I'm assuming it's slow right now, right? I mean, also, if you have customers by you, I wonder what they're... Probably need to make sure I watch my language then, right? Because if you're on the clock with me, I need to make sure that I am not being heard by your clients and customers. Goodness, I'm yawning so much. I'm trying to cut back on the caffeine, which is always a terrible decision. Fair enough. I'm assuming you're a younger gentleman, or gentleman, lady. And you know, for talking to you as long as I have, I don't think I've ever actually asked your pronouns. What are your pronouns, chum? I have a bad habit naturally defaulting to everyone's a guy. Likes to go to watch his tests. Crazy time. I'm a terrible influence. The Wolven postman finished gearing up and left his locker as he head back to the main floor of the postman's spire. Crazy. How's crazy once? They put me in a river. Lex Dakota decided to test on the storm more later, though. Oh, postman's finished gearing up. Let's head back to the... Alright. Good luck with your looking, Dotman. Remember, there is also the exclamation point turn command. Unlock. Wanna use it. Also tonight, I don't believe I'm joining in with Repo Shenanigans, so if I do, it'll be later, but not tonight. I am going to be doing stuff with friends after I'm done streaming here. Depending on when they show up. She, her? Yeah, I'm sorry, Phoenix. I know. It's a disheartening thing. I know you guys like it, but I want to make sure my other friends are... This man? I'll get off my phone periodically. Okay. Well, Chum, I am sorry if I've pronounced you earlier. Boo this man. Are you not entertained? Don't worry, I'll be available next week for it, more than likely, because I think Father's Day is Sunday next week, right? Yeah. Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you for understanding. I appreciate it, but I do strive to be good about that, because it's a thing, it's such an easy thing to do, to be nice and courteous to people you don't know. And I try to be a good person. So I still have my moments, though. Perplexed Dakota was not late yet, but taking that long to prep would surely make get his boss ask what he wants to do. Down here. So long. I haven't actually seen Soup yet today, nor have they messaged me on Discord. I do hope they're doing alright. Could have made his way out of the elevator. The place was already bustling with other agents milling about, gathering bounties, during talks of previous missions. Goto slowly walked his way towards the main desk. He went to get... Someone the younger said, yes, I don't have a... Okay, actually, that's not a bad little meal there, Phoenix. No, I have not seen Soup at all. I'm gonna... Also, ouch. I could use time with my friends. Saw the places. Dakota made his way out of the elevator. Elevator. He saw the place was already bustling with other agents, gathering bounties and sharing talks of previous missions. Going between pre-made teriyaki mean breasts or dino nuts. Ouch. Hey, dino nuggies still go hard. It doesn't matter how old you are. We love dino nuggies. I'm the younger set. I mean, here's the thing. Shop. Here's the thing with the phone addiction thing, right? So long as it doesn't impede you, there's technically nothing wrong with like being on your phone. But if it starts to impede like things that you need to get done or job, and it is something you struggle with, then it's something you need to handle, right? I know it's weird for the person you're watching on Twitch to be like, yeah, you should probably actually like take care of that if it becomes an issue, which means I would be asking you not to watch my stuff. But in reality, it's very important to keep yourself wary of things that you could form an addiction around. Those sound great. Exactly, no one's too old for dino nuggies. The only thing I would say, though, is if the teriyaki chicken breasts are refrigerated and not frozen, you should probably eat those up sooner than the dino nuggies. You saw the place was already blessed on about. Like talks previous missions they want. Dakota slowly walked his way towards the main desk. He went to see. Gotcha. Well, if you're doing the chicken breasts, I'm assuming you would want to do those in the air fryer too, right? So maybe it'd be better to do the nuggets, because the nuggets won't take as long as the chicken breasts to prepare in your air fryer. Dakota slowly made his way towards the main desk, taking care to not to bump into others as he went. Made small waves and greeted other agents. That is true, but they do take longer. So if you're wanting to limit cook time, yeah, that's the other thing. Potatoes are going to take a ton of heat. Stopping for conversation. Nothing other than normal for now. Finally, he the main. Yeah. So, like, if you can, I mean, realistically, you could start the potatoes at the lower temperature, then bring them up. You would just have to adjust the time briefly. I don't know the math for that, though. It's been a while since I've done that kind of equation. Finally, he made his way to the desk. Joe only paused briefly there to see what missions and hunts were available for the day. Clerk on hand perked up. Coda, I wasn't expecting you to come here first. Got a quotation mark. Alright, let's see if this feels natural. Dakota, I wasn't expecting you to be coming here first, especially after what the boss told us. Yeah, what'd he say? That a representative of the judges would be talking to you before you got up here. He said to not mark you as late. I'm not late, am I? About 15 minutes late now. Is your watch out of sync again? I guess the update made me lose track of time. I guess the update made me lose track of time, Dakota said softly, looking at his watch as it was 15 minutes later than he thought it was. Odd. My floor was bustling too. Here's another. So the place was already bustling with other agents. He was to be in beginning and before the shift change. Joe slowly made his way to the main desk, taking care not to pop out the others as he went. He made small waves and greeted other agents as he passed, not stopping for conversation though, as nothing out of the normal for him. Finally, he made it to the main desk. Dakota paused there briefly to see what missions and hunts were available. God, I love this song. Dakota, wasn't expecting you to come here first, especially after what the boss told us. Yeah, what did he say? The representative's talking to you before you got up here. Not to mark you as late. I'm not late, am I? About 15 minutes now. Did your watch out of sync again? I guess the update made me lose track of time. He said softly, looking at his watch as it was 15 minutes later than I thought it was. Odd. Explains why the main floor was bustling. Hope you don't mind. My bad. What do they want? The judge's representative. Did they talk to you? Talk is a strong word. little bit. I think Dakota struggled with on his own. What do they want? DNR. Yes, she replied, brushing her auburn hair out of her face. There was something similar about this clerk. Dakota knew he saw her outside work before, which isn't something that is meant to happen. Postman agencies try to keep agents and other roles from interacting with each other off the clock, as it could lead to favoritism and them getting jobs that paid more than what was typically offered to each agent. He's been waiting for you in DNR. Seems very excited. He seems very excited, more so than usual. Guess you really gave him something fun to figure out. I think Dakota struggled with. Nothing Dakota struggled with. He was still in a league of his own in comparison to the other kids here. He was a higher rank and had some favor yet with his boss. Favor that was waning thanks to his fervent search for Reagan. Yeah, I need him to upgrade my pistol. Standard issue ones aren't cutting it. He scroll. Good. You're going to need to be at top shape. Dakota looked at the clerk with a slightly confused look as he tilted his head to the side. That wasn't what her lips said. She said something else. Dakota stared at her for a moment before he realized that everything else stopped around him. He looked about in confusion as he saw her. He then... Shaper of Death itself. Then he saw her. Shaper of Death herself. Now I know what they wanted. She spoke directly into his mind. Spoke into his mind, directly implanting her thoughts and words into his skull. As she shown him. Oh, that would 100% do it, Soup Dog. No, we were all like, man, Soup Dog isn't here. Hope he's all right. So that's why I messaged you. But I'm glad you got some sleep. Might need it before tonight. Good morning. The sun says hello. We're working more on chapter 1. Sorry for everybody else that's like jump scared by the fact that I'm talking again. I got a little into the writing a little bit there. But Eerie has introduced herself to Dakota again. We're not gaming, we're writing. I know what they wanted. She spoke into his mind, directly implanting her thoughts and words into his skull as she showed him her mind. See, they upgraded your arsenal. They also helped out Quincy. Soul. He's nervous. Quincy. requests. Poor soul, he's nervous now. It's only ever happened one other time. Nervous. He's nervous now. It's only ever happened one other time. Dark place. Yeah, go get some water, buddy. You probably need it after that nap. It's only happened one other time. That time was before the debriefing they gave on that night. She's shown him all that he missed. This only ever happened one other time. That time was before the briefing they gave on the night. She showed him all he missed from her fight with Ray. Don't cry prepping foods. Hey, nothing wrong with that, Phoenix. I knew you were busy prepping foods. No worries, big guy, no worries. We're just having him talk with Eerie. Only ever happened one other time. The time was before the briefing they gave on that night. She showed him all he missed from her fight with Ray. Along with perspective of the fight. Dark place, a slab of obsidian surrounded by hundreds of screens that as she sat in the middle of the room. Green. Obsidian. Yuri sat in the middle of the room in an oversized chair, drinking from an antique mug as a smell of coffee seeped. Who lives? Yeah. He's getting water right now, but he seems to be doing good. Hey, I'm back. Welcome back. I'm the Savage Ed. It's a dark place. A slab of obsidian and granite that was surrounded by hundreds of screens that were flickering between everything going on around them. Eerie sat in the middle of the room in a oversized chair, drinking from an antique mug. The smell of coffee seeped into Koda's mind. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm doing well. All things considered, I had another migraine today, but that was because we had tornado sirens going on like all night, so I just did not sleep well at all. Yuri wasn't the one to waste time, so something very important to finishing something. It was not fun, but I mean, I was ultimately, obviously, I'm all right, but it's just one of those things that really bothers me and annoys me because it wouldn't have been so bad if I was already like well asleep by that time that they were going off because I would have just slept through them, but I was not asleep right away tonight. As a lead. Yuri wasn't one to waste time unless it was something very important, like finishing something she left undone. The death of the bloodsmith was what this was all about. Yes. Finally, yes. Seems our problem has found footing and is about to strike, she said, getting up from the chair as the metallic sphere grabbed the mug, set it down gently, gave one next to a chair. good. Five? Ooh, that is low. Doing fine, you know. Have you? I'm sorry, I just realized I've been spaced out writing. Yes, it's not letting me scroll up. Of course it's not. Make sure I'm not missing text messages. Just had a few slices of cucumber straight up with a bit of salt, so good. Nice. We do love food here. Food is good. I had some pizza today too, and some barbecue mac. spoke. She talked. Possible, but I doubt. Possibly, but I doubt. Said before suddenly being beside Dakota, holding onto his sword. Oh, welcome back. She talked to the blade. Great weapon, powerful. Not that they'd let you have. Nice, that is a word for it, but also do note. Screens flickered off, save for one. It was on Emily and school. On M. The what? Alright, let's see here. We're just about 2 hours in. Let me see here. Sure. Let me see here. What? Yeah, one more thing. The sky goes green for a leaf that is amber. Keep that in mind, will you? The what? Alright, now we go back to... Ended with a smirk. We trade in this from any rifle. Rare times when I get a full new kit. Ended with a smirk. Slowly walking towards 3 mil. Yeah, you're almost at 2.5. That's pretty crazy. No. I don't think anyone's done one yet today. Do a heist. Times indeed, the clerk finally replied properly. Seemed Erie was done talking. Nothing. Do you like Masa Musa? Just give away half my credits to these. You don't have to do that. I mean, realistically, there's nothing... Credits really don't do anything here until we make them do something. So I still wanted to figure out what I want that to do. I might have that be chat commands that people can do. Kind of like how we had fetch, the fake one, when Bits was down. Let's see. Talk to you about something. He won't say what, but he think it's for... Ow! As if on cue. Thanks, Romulus. Am I the only one going on this heist? Uh-oh. I think you may have activated Romulus. Oh, nope, Soup joined in. I didn't even see you join. Let's go, Soup. Now you should be at about 2.5 mil. Seems about right. I'll talk with him later. We shall. Okay. I feel like this is a good break. What we have written so far. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to read through what I've written today. Actually, I'll probably read part of what we read yesterday and then go from there. See how much time's left over. But what we'll probably end up is... I'm going to read through this, then we'll go rate. We'll probably, if Rashira is the only one live, I'll read Rashira. Let me go ahead and read through this. Dakota pulled the Omni vehicle into his parking spot in the underground garage. Dakota ran his hand through his hair as his watch chirped, giving him the 5-minute warning of him being late for shift. He grumbled about it as he got out of his car. He looked over the machine marvel and smiled softly, one of the coolest rides he ever saw. The car itself was a bit sleek in nature, flared only at the back, jet black with dark blue stripes along the top and sides with only distinguishing features on it. Windows wrapped around from the front to about halfway down the sides where the rear doors would be at. Where the wheels could fold in, there were several grooved notches and vents for the jets to help propel it along. Fancy bit of science and magic he could never fully understand. As he popped open the back door of the Omni vehicle, he reached into the back seat for his work duffel bag and his weapons, unlatching the set of gear from the floor as he hefted them out. Now that he was on postman grounds, he didn't need to worry about being noticed by civilians. He sighed as he worked his gear onto his shoulder and back before he left the flying car. He thumbed the key twice as the vehicle chirped and locked down, letting him know that not a soul could get in there unless it was himself. That Dakota was at work. As he entered the postman's tower on the subfloor, Dakota checked in with security and punched in 7 a.m. on time. The woven postman went to the locker rooms as he sighed softly. Finally, time to get to work. The common area for the locker rooms was standard for people in his field, except each locker was a small and private spot. Each stationed postman to keep some of their more specialized gear. And he both loved and hated for equal measures. Although, thinking about it more, he wished he could just have his equipment with him the entire time. Make his life easier and would allow him to just do his work. Could have waved at a fellow postman leaving her own locker as he then opened his own prep room. Thanks, Phoenix. I appreciate that. We're not quite done yet, though. Unless that's how much of a delay we got going on right now. I don't think we had that much of a delay. But yeah, I'm gonna finish reading through this for what we have today. And then we'll be rating some. Being a super soldier like he was did afford him a bit more of a private space from the other postmen. His locker was larger and had a series of other locks on, including a genetics test. No one was getting in unless it was him. Or so he thought. But it was clearly not the last person in here, as a small box with a note left on top of it told him otherwise. He glanced about before getting ready, turning on his watch fully and getting the rest of his armor on. Fully kitted out, he then took the box up carefully, checking for traps or anything of the sort as he looked over. Inside the box was mostly harmless. On the outside, he looked over the note. Your benefactors have decided that now is the time to increase your potential. Inside will be the first of 5 upgrades you will receive with question but no answer. Know that his gifts are only here to benefit you and help you with your overcoming of past failure. Owl, we know. He and I will meet you shortly in a way we cannot say, but you'll know it is us. Keep diligent and know we are forever here for you. Before he could even comprehend what was being read, the box sprang into action. Ensnaring his left wrist and hand, the sound of whirring gears and magic buzzing filled the small room. He could have went to pry the box free, but as his hands touched the box, 3 images burned into his mind. Images he had seen before. It was when he met the judges. He grew still as his mind washed over with a soft static as he felt something else change inside him. Next thing he knew, he was standing in the center of his private prep room, eyes locked on the new object in his locker. A gleaming metal sword bound in a dark leather scabbard was what he saw. The scabbard was simple looking, just adorned with sigils and runes Dakota vaguely recognized, but couldn't recall what they meant. He saw that they had a faint glow to them, as if it was iridescent sheen of various blues cycling with unknown power. As he sat in his locker, Dakota felt a thought softly echo in his mind. It wasn't his voice that gave him the thought, and yet, reach for it. Pierced by the new implement award, Dakota hesitantly reached out for the blade. As if it knew his intent, the blade arose from the scabbard it was in and slowly began to move. Dakota drew his hand back out of instinct as the sudden movement of the blade caught him off guard. As he did, the blade began to return to the scabbard. Seeing it do so made Dakota realize that the blade was magically attuned to his thoughts. Well, he inferred that as he had no way of confirming that outright. He reached for the weapon again and it came towards him, stopped just within Dakota's feet. Carefully, he grabbed the blade by its hilt and sized it up. The blade itself was of a bright silver color, with sigils and runes etched into the dark red crossguard along the middle of the blade that shone like the sigils on the scabbard. The sword was just over 3 feet long in blade length, and nearly a hand and a half long. Wrapped in leather like the scabbard was made out of. On the end of the hilt and pommel, there was a blue gem cut in the shape of a star that gave a soft glow. The blade tapered inwards and back out from the middle after about 1.5 feet worth of the blade's length, before collapsing back into the blade tip. An odd design choice for sure. Dakota studied the sigils briefly before he gave the blade a soft swing. It felt slightly heavier than it should. As he went to move the blade about, that is when he began to see the blade's metal slowly begin to glow a pale white color, filling in the tapered bits of the blade with a glowing blue energy. Dakota let the blade's heft find balance in his hand as he realized it felt perfectly balanced now, even more odd. Postman wondered whose magic craft was added into this blade as he went to sheath it in the scabbard. Before he could even latch it shut, the scabbard lifted out of his locker and fashioned a belt from seemingly nowhere and attached itself to his back, bringing the belt around and integrating into his overcoat with a soft click and clank of metal. The blade's glow died as the scabbard sigil slowly glowed brighter before dulling. Perplexed, Dakota decided he would test this sword out more later, though, as he was wasting time. The woven postman finished gearing up and left his locker and headed back to the main floor of the postman's spire. He wasn't late yet, but taking that long to prep would surely get his boss to ask what he was doing down here for so long. Dakota made his way out of the elevator. He saw that the place was already bustling with other agents milling about, gathering bounties and talking of previous missions they went on. Not unexpected, but he was to be in before the shift changed. Dakota slowly made his way towards the main desk, taking care not to bump into others as he went. He made small waves and greeted other agents as he passed, not stopping for conversation, though. Nothing out of the normal for him now. Nicely done. Finally, he made it to the main desk. Dakota only paused briefly there to see what missions and hunts were available for the day. Same run-of-the-mill assignments, nothing pertaining to him. One clerk on hand perked up after looking up from her computer with a soft gasp. Dakota? I wasn't expecting you to come here first, especially after what the boss told us. Yeah, what did he say? That a representative of the judges would be talking to you before you got up here. He said not to mark you as late. I'm not late, am I? About 15 minutes late. Now, is your watch out of sync again? I guess the update made me lose track of time, Dakota said softly, looking to his watch as it was 15 minutes later than he thought it was. Odd. That explains why the main floor was bustling. Hope you don't mind. My bad. What did they want? The clerk asked as she lowered her monocle to look at Dakota directly, seemingly off record. Dakota absentmindedly replied, the judge's representatives. Did they talk to you? Talk is a strong word. See, they gave you something and changed your watch. Yeah, I haven't had time to see what was all upgraded. Is Quincy still in? Yes, she replied, brushing her auburn hair out of the way of her face. There was something familiar about this clerk. Dakota knew he saw her outside of work before, which isn't something that is meant to happen. Postman agencies tried to keep agents in other roles from interacting with each other off the clock. It could lead to favoritism and them getting jobs that paid more than what was typically offered to each agent. He's been waiting for you in DNR. He seems very excited, more so than usual. Guess you really gave him something fun to figure out this time, she said, adjusting her monocle back over her eyes. You looked back to Dakota with a soft smile. Nothing Dakota struggled with. He was still in a league of his own in comparison to the other agents here. He was a higher rank and had some favor yet with his boss. Favor that was waning thanks to his fervent searching for Reagan. Yeah, I needed him to upgrade my pistol. And as the standard issue ones aren't cutting it right now. But I hefted up his duffel bag. His rifle was latched safely inside. He wanted me to trade this in for my new rifle. No, I am not playing Repo tonight. Oh, that bites that our stream just crashed. Oof. Then Dakota hopped out of his duffel bag. His rifle lashed safely inside, and he wants me to trade this in for my new rifle. Rare times when I get a full new kit, he added with a smirk. Good, you're gonna need to be at top shape. Dakota looked at the clerk with a slight confused look as he tilted his head to the side. That wasn't what her lips said. As if she said something else. Dakota stared at her for a moment before he realized that everything else stopped around him. He looked about in confusion as he tried to piece together what was going on. Then he saw her, the shaper of death herself, Eerie. Now, I know what they wanted, she spoke into his mind, directly implanting her thoughts and words into his skull as she showed him into her mind. See, the judges upgraded your arsenal. They also helped Quincy with your request. Poor soul, he's nervous now. This only ever happened one other time. That time was before the debriefing they gave on the night. She showed him all he missed from her fight with Reagan, along with her perspective of the fight that he had with that vampire. She had said she wanted him to get their story straight. It could have happened 1,000 other times, and he'd still never get over the uneasy and dreaded sensation that flooded his mind as she welcomed him into her mind palace. It was a dark place, a slab of obsidian and granite that was surrounded by hundreds of screens that were flickering between everything going on around them. Eerie sat in the middle of the room in an oversized chair, drinking from an antique mug as a small coffee seeped into Dakota's mind. Yeah? That's good at least. What do you want? Well, some proper respect and all. I can't always be there to save your bacon. I've been doing fine, you know. Have you? The question was very cold, but Dakota knew why she took the time to talk to him now. She needed him back into fighting shape. She needed him to be back into fighting shape. Better fighting shape. There is a lead. Eerie wasn't one to waste time unless it was something very important to her, like finishing something she left undone. The death of the Bloodsmith was what this was all about. Finally, yes, it seems our problem has found footing and is about to strike, she said. Getting up from her chair, the metallic sphere grabbed the mug and set it gently down on the table next to her chair. He has been hiding and laying obscenely low for someone out of his power, she continued, showing Dakota flashing images on the screen of all her attempts. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to be spending time with friends tonight, Soup. My bad. She continued to show Dakota flashing images on the screen of all her attempts to find him, and any sort of lead she could scour. Seems she took to robbing a blood bank shortly after his run with us. Shame they had us on lockdown then. Could have finished the job while he was weak. Her face was obscured, but Dakota knew she was smiling in that darkness. Not a happy smile. Dakota knew better than to interrupt, but he had to ask how she knew this. As if he said something, she continued. I know this is because I saw the reports after the event. They didn't tell us. Someone is helping on the inside? Possibly, but I doubt. She said before suddenly being beside Dakota, holding out his arm. Oh, welcome back. She talked to the blade as if it was an old friend from yesteryear, before putting it back into the scabbard. Great weapon, powerful. Odd that they'd let you have it, he said with a tone that sounded like happiness. That weapon's slain vampires before. It should do you a great service in dealing with that edgelord. Thanks, but what else? You don't just invite me here often. That watch upgrade you got? It'll make your powers last longer, she added. And think of it like being recharged doubly and taking a quarter of the power to run your spells. Nice. That's a word for it. But also do note, the screens flickered off save for one. The screen was focused on Emily at school. I know what she is after too. She will get what she seeks after you try to tell her no more. Save yourself the frustration, Doctor. Okay, anything else? Yeah, one more thing. The sky goes green for a leaf that is amber. Keep that in mind, will you? The what? Rare times indeed, the clerk finally replied properly. Seems Eerie was done talking to him. He blinked, realized that nothing had happened while he was talking to her. That magic she had was something else. Valid. Mewing has become a vocal stim for me, which is odd since I'm Soup Dog. Dude, it's a disease that can spread, man. These vocal stims are terrible like that. Seemed Eerie was done talking. Oh, I'm not gaming tonight. I'm sorry. The magic she had was something else. All right, well, better get going. Send me my usual hunts to my comm unit. I'll go on them once I'm done with Quincy. Oh, before you leave, boss wants to talk to you about something. He wouldn't say what, but we think it's for what today is. Yeah, seems about right. I'll talk with him later. Postman deliver justice, as we shall. And there we go. That is our writing for the night. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go actually raid Shira, unless there are other people who are live playing. Go ahead. See. Yep, she seems to be the only one live right now. So we'll go raid Rashira. This will be my penance for not joining in on Repo tonight. Go ahead and... Ow! Kasuna! Hey, stop! Stop telling me to play video games! Ugh. Crashy stream is exploding. I'm not playing Repo tonight, Kasuna. I'm sorry. Her stream is exploding? How bad is it? Let's see. In the red? Oh, she's having bitrate issues? Then it might not be a good... screw it, we'll still raid. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna raid her. It'll be fun. It'll be my penance for not being there tonight. Go ahead and do that. It's funny, my stream manager also says I'm unstable right now. Perhaps if I spell her... Go ahead and do this. No problem. Thanks for the stream.
We have one right at the...
Alright. Now that is going on, her stream crashed again, of course. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I'll catch you all next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.